everyone. Right, so we've been talking about blockchain for the governance, and I have a specific topic relevant to it that shall we consider blockchain as a complete solution when it comes to the GovTech, or shall we consider it just a component or a feature? So that's why I call it blockchain as a feature, BaaF. So this is what I'll be presenting in the next few minutes. Let's proceed. This is me. I've been involved, you can say, I've been breathing blockchain for the last 2.5 years, number of government projects, doing some projects with the different government entities, United Nations, and also at the panel of a PwC as their blockchain faculty member. Now, let's build up what we are going to discuss. The Genesis block is going to be covering not what we are going to discuss is the crypto side of the blockchain, and also we'll not go deep into the nuts and bolts of the blockchain. So technology side and the crypto side will not dig deep. What we are going to focus then, we will be focusing on two sides, and that is that yes, blocks and chains will be discussed, but the strategic side of the blocks and chains. And for whom? Since we are talking about governments, so yes, we will be talking about the application of blockchain on the different entities of government, governance in general. So this is the chain of discussion of my keynote. We will start with why blockchain and some of the use cases for the different government entities for blockchain, and strategic insight, the most important block of this particular chain of discussion. So the first block is why blockchain. So I'll come up with a few facts. The fact says that, yes, it is the global revenues for the blockchain industries are increasing year by year. The place where I come from, Middle East, yes, it is the case there as well. Year by year, we are having massive adoption there. And plus, we can see in the financial institutions, government institutions, again, it's on the rise. And more importantly, the Ethereum, which is the second largest blockchain technology platform, the transactions are hyping up as well, 240 million plus already. So yes, blockchain is a new wave of change. This is an agreed, established fact. Now, why it is so? Because it is basically giving a primary value for trust. Trust which was like been catered by tribal heads in our history, been catered by the governments in our history, by the financial institutions in our recent history. Now, this is an automation of a trust. So the blockchain is very handy, and it is not only handy for the peer-to-peer trust, it is a handy component for those existing government or financial institutions to take care of this as a giant platform of a trust. Moving forward, very clearly, if I'll give you an analogy, there are two sides of every coin, and yes, blockchain has two sides as well. One side is the crypto one, and the second side is, very importantly, the enterprise side. And that is where most of the government applications are for the blockchain. And that's where we will be focusing on this side, that side of the coin. Let's move on to our next block, which is the enterprise use cases for the government entities. First of all, let's establish, is it a match or a mismatch? Let's see into the features of a blockchain. Is it a match or mismatch? There are four major features of blockchain: disintermediation, resilience, integrity, and traceability. If you look at all of these four features, they're primarily of a paramount importance for the government entities. So yes, blockchain is very much applied for the government entities. If we see the research by Gartner, a very well-established research company, they said that the primary application, the best use case for the blockchain till next year or so is with the government, and then with the financial institutions or the technology companies. And this is proven with the fact as well. The usage of blockchain in different verticals of industry, you can see governments are standing second at the moment after the financial institutions, understandably. Now, these are the four sectors where the public operational efficiencies can be achieved with the blockchain, mainly with connecting the dots of ecosystem. Governance is all about ecosystem, right? And connecting the dots is required for that ecosystem to establish its efficiency. Blockchain is the tool for that. Then enhancing client experience. Who is the client here? Citizens, right? And then moving on to the security and integrity of the data. Data is all about what is governments are handling. If that is not having integrity or security, there's a big problem. And finally, very importantly, workflow management, automation. Every government operation, public or service operation has a workflow. To automate that, along with other legacy systems, we can use blockchain as well. Moving forward, some of the use cases in the finance function. Every industry or every government entity has key functions in it. Finance is one of them, has plenty of like use cases. Then there is a supply chain, which again is very important function of any organization. Plenty of use cases there. We have some kind of a project management, or work coordination between the departments of any government entity, and then we can proceed by the HR side of the like a different entities. That is again a big application of a blockchain. Now, some of the use cases in the government side, if you can see, the voting side been discussed today and yesterday, national digital currency, customs and border control, plenty of them, and several countries now in the world are experiencing those, including where I come from, UAE, a very big exponent, and Estonia, along with Estonia, Singapore, and a few other countries in the world. Moving forward, this is, again, I'm primarily an educator, so a very big use case. One being discussed 2 keynotes ago is about the education. So it's very much like an applicable use case these days for the blockchain in the government entities. E-services, a lot of government entities are now offering their services on apps, mobile apps or web apps. If you add the layer of blockchain, it will be having even multiple kind of advantages on that. So you can issue registrations of licenses, of the IDs, public notices, some kind of reporting, and all what the governments normally issue. Blockchain is also providing a platform for compliance. Again, governments involve a lot of compliance issues. So compliance platform is required, which blockchain can provide to the government entities. Then a lot of issue is with the citizens' ID. There are examples of duplications in IDs in different countries. So if they are secured on the blockchain layer, plenty of the advantage to be achieved here. Financial side, again, governments can do KYC verification plus AML compliance on blockchain. So initially, there was a thought that blockchains will be not very handy for the AML or money laundering side, but now if you can see, it's an opposite thing. AML has to be having some kind of, a blockchain has to be having some kind of advantage for AML practices. Very importantly, trustless file sharing. Governments, again, deal with a lot of sensitive data and files. They share with each other, different departments, different individuals. Blockchain-enabled docu-share, let's say, very commonly we use in our operational matters. So if you imagine the blockchain-based some kind of file-sharing system for the government entities will have paramount advantages. You can put your text management system. You can put another very important a creative side of a blockchain application is that you can reward the behavior of the citizens. If they are doing good in the traffic, if they are doing good in some kind of personal performances, you can reward them through tokenomics-based blockchain applications. Right, so let's move forward to the strategic insight, probably the most important side of this keynote. And I'll start with the challenges first. Blockchain is not all about goody-goody things. There are plenty of challenges at the moment been facing to this industry. The first one is lack of regulations. We had some discussions in this event. We always have this discussion in different events. Good to have these discussions to take these things forward because lack of regulation is one big barrier for the adoption of a blockchain-based applications. Next up is network effect. Blockchains are as useful as number of players on that particular platform. It's a platform-based solution. The more players on it, the more efficiency you will achieve. So that's why there is a network effect at the moment, which is a challenge. Not many competitors, not many government entities are comfortable to come on one platform. So again, this is one of the challenges been faced by the blockchain to get adapted. Third and very important one is integration and interoperability. Blockchains for last few years have kept on coming, but we need to have the integration layer between them and the legacy systems. We cannot scrap them. There have been billions already invested in them. So, and they are not that much of a lack of a value. So they have their own efficiency value. So we need some integration or interoperability layer, and that's where things have been lacking at the moment. Security and scalability. There is a myth that blockchains are 100% secure. Not the case. Each system has its own vulnerabilities. So is the case with the blockchain system. So yes, there are some security and scalability because blockchains till now are not that much mature to handle like fast transactions per second kind of a systems. Mushroom growth and bubble burst. Again, if we see the recent history of blockchain development, it's all been mushroom-based. There are plenty of new solutions been coming up without any protocol, without any standardized speaking language between the blockchain and blockchain. So yes, this is a big challenge at the moment. Been worked on by ISO 3, Technical Committee 307, and we are in the middle of a bubble burst. Rightly so. Once this will go past, filtered individuals, filtered projects will remain in the game, and obviously we'll have a very filtered kind of a very efficient kind of an ecosystem with us. To me, this is probably the most important challenge. Inability of ours to see blockchain real like a value or a paradigm. So that's probably, I'll explain it in the next slide, what I think is the case. Blockchain is like the big elephant, which at the moment 6 blind people are seeing in a different perspective. Someone holding a trunk is assuming blockchain for different application. Someone from the regulatory side is having its own way of comprehending blockchain, and someone from any other side. It's all people's perception at the moment, which is not helping at the moment, but of course, in coming time, things will be more having more clarity about what blockchain can do and how we can take things forward, the blockchain applications. That's my point of view. Because of the lack of maturity, lack of adaptation, plenty of challenges, we should not be considering blockchain as a complete solution. We should be considering it as a blockchain as a feature, a component in the layer of existing hardware, existing system. So that should be the starting point for the governments or any large-scale enterprises to bring blockchain in their organizations. Consider blockchain as a feature, not as the out-and-out solution. It's not there yet. But by adding this component into your existing architecture, you will get the benefit of what blockchain is offering, along with the benefits of what legacy systems are offering. So normally people consider there are 2 types of systems, decentralized and centralized. Blockchain people consider that everything should be going on decentralized. It is not going to be a natural, like a revolution. It has to be evolution. For that matter, the future is all about hybrid at the moment. So next few years, we have to work on hybrid solutions, not the decentralized solutions, because the adoption will be even more challenging. And plus, again, blockchain as a technology is not there yet to offer us completely decentralized solutions. So hybrid should be the way forward. Now, where should be the focus? Focus should not be on using blockchain as a technology. Focus should be to assess the pain points in existing systems and what pain points can be solved through blockchain or DLT-based technologies. So that should be the focus, not the blockchain to be used as a technology. Another strategic perspective which needs to be transformed. People assume that blockchain is 80% is a technology and 20% is a business process change. Exactly opposite to that. So it is basically an 80% of a business process change and 20% as a technology. Give the technology side to your technology teams, CTOs, CIOs. They will take care of that. You, as an operational head, as an HR head, as some kind of a supply chain head, has your own decision or strategic insights to take care of. And that's where your focus should be, and that's the 80% part of the implementation of any blockchain project in government situations. One more very important thing is hierarchy of needs. What need to be come first before the other? And that, if you see on this pyramid, the first thing has to be the assurance from the top down, or top management. Blockchain implementation is a top-down approach. If you start from the middle, if you start from the bottom up, it will get failed. I give you the example of each country which is very visible at the moment on the map of blockchain. Again, Estonia, Dubai, Singapore, Switzerland. Where is the real application? Top. The governments started that campaign of bringing blockchain into their operational efficiency. Same is the case if the organizations want to go for, it has to be a top-down approach. Never start training the IT people first. Start giving awareness, start bringing up to date to the decision makers about this technology, and then it has to come down. Strategy has to be the second important need, legal framework, and then onwards the business process changes, and then you can see there is an application. So fifth number, the bottom, or the second bottom, the second last bottom tier is to the IT side. How we can go for the adoption? We have to take this 3 steps approach. First, identify the use cases in your organizations. As I said, assess what is the pain point in your current system. And you know the strength of blockchain. You know the limitation of blockchain. Then see where is the fit. Don't try to create a production standard solution now. Just play with it through proof of concepts, and then gradually scale it up. And that's what we are doing with the different government entities and United Nations body. We have started with the education, identifying them, the use cases of blockchain in their different work functions, our workflow automations, and then we start building up with them the POCs. Now, to conclude this, blockchain is a magical thing, no doubt about that. But it requires Aladdins like you to rub the lamp and bring out the genie of blockchain out of that lamp and get best out of it. Thank you very much.